The arrival. The vast expanse of space stretched out before the UES horizon, humanity's first true interstellar vessel. Captain Area Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of the wormhole that had brought them to this distant corner of the galaxy. The ship's AI, Iris, spoke in its calm, measured voice. "Captain, we've successfully traversed the Einstein-Rosen Bridge. Current location is approximately 50,000 light-years from Earth." Area nodded, her short black hair barely moving as she turned to her second-in-command, Commander Nikolai Volkov. "Status report, Nikolai." The burly Russian tapped at his console, his bushy eyebrows furrowing. "All systems nominal, Captain. However, we're picking up some unusual readings. Massive energy signatures, consistent with large-scale space battles. As if on cue, the view screen lit up with a dazzling array of lights. Streaks of energy crisscrossed the starfield, punctuated by explosions that could only be described as apocalyptic in scale. "My God," Area breathed. Iris, analysis. The AI's holographic avatar, a shimmering blue sphere, pulsed as it spoke. "Based on the scale and intensity of the conflict, I estimate we are witnessing a war involving at least 2 advanced civilizations. The energy output suggests weaponry far beyond our current capabilities." Area's mind raced. Humanity had spent centuries dreaming of first contact. But this was beyond anything they had imagined. "Can we communicate with either side?" Before Iris could respond, the ship shuddered violently. Nikolai's voice cut through the sudden chaos. "Captain, we're being scanned. Multiple vessels approaching at high speed." "Shields up," Area commanded. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers, but do not fire unless fired upon. We're here as explorers, not combatants." The bridge crew worked furiously at their stations as the horizon danced through space, narrowly avoiding beams of energy that could have vaporized the ship in an instant. Suddenly, a new voice crackled over the comm system, speaking in a language none of them recognized. Iris's avatar pulsed rapidly. Translating. "Captain, I believe they're demanding our surrender or identification." Area straightened her uniform, a determined look in her eyes. "Open a channel. All frequencies. Let's introduce ourselves." She took a deep breath and began to speak. "This is Captain Area Chen of the United Earth Ship Horizon. We come in peace as representatives of humanity, seeking knowledge and friendship. We have no quarrel with you and wish to understand the nature of this conflict." For a moment, there was silence. Then, the view screen flickered, revealing a being unlike anything they had ever seen. Its body was a shifting mass of crystalline structures, glowing with inner light. When it spoke, its voice was a harmonious blend of tones that seemed to resonate within their very bones. "Humans," the being said, its translated words tinged with surprise and curiosity. "You have entered a war zone that has burned for 800 millennia. I am Zix of the luminous Concordat. Our enemy, the Void Dominion, seeks to extinguish all light in the universe. You must choose a side or perish in the crossfire." Area exchanged glances with her crew, the weight of this moment not lost on any of them. They had come seeking knowledge, but found themselves on the precipice of a war older than human civilization itself. "With respect, Zix, Area replied carefully. "We've only just arrived. We need to understand more before we can consider taking sides in a conflict of this magnitude." The crystalline being's light pulsed in what might have been amusement or irritation. "Your species' infancy may be its saving grace, human. Very well. We will grant you safe passage to our command center. Perhaps your fresh perspective may offer possibilities we have not considered." As the communication ended, Area turned to her crew. "Well, it seems we've stumbled into something far bigger than we anticipated. Nikolai, set a course to follow the Concordat ship. Dr. Amol, I want you to start analyzing all the data we can gather about this war. Singh, beef up our defenses as much as you can. We may need every advantage we can get." As the horizon fell into formation with the alien fleet, Arya couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. They had come seeking the unknown, and they had certainly found it. But as she watched the ongoing battle rage around them, she wondered if humanity was ready for the challenges that lay ahead. The journey to the luminous Concordat's command center was a tense affair. The Horizon's crew watched in awe as massive ships, some easily the size of small moons, maneuvered through the battlefield. Energy weapons unlike anything they had ever seen lanced through space, while smaller craft darted between the behemoths like schools of fish. Dr. Emil Nkosi, the ship's chief scientist, approached Arya with a data pad in hand. Her dark skin contrasted sharply with the stark white of her lab coat. "Captain, I've been analyzing the sensor data. The scale of this war, it's almost beyond comprehension. The amount of energy being expended could power Earth for millions of years." Arya nodded grimly. "And the casualties?" Amal's expression tightened. "If our readings are correct, entire star systems are being destroyed in this conflict. The loss of life is incalculable." Before Arya could respond, Iris chimed in. "Captain, we're approaching the Concordat command center. You may want to see this." The view screen shifted, revealing a structure that defied easy description. It was a massive fractal construct that seemed to exist in more dimensions than the human mind could easily comprehend. Parts of it phased in and out of visibility, while others glowed with the same inner light as Zixlaren. "Incredible," Nikolai muttered, voicing the thoughts of everyone on the bridge. As they drew closer, a docking bay materialized, large enough to accommodate the Horizon with room to spare. Arya took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "All right, people. We're about to make history. Dr. Nkosi, Commander Volkov, you're with me. Lieutenant Singh, you have the con. Keep the ship ready for anything." The away team stepped onto the alien structure, immediately struck by the otherworldly nature of their surroundings. The walls pulsed with light that seemed alive, and gravity shifted subtly as they moved, giving the impression of walking through a dream. Zixlaren appeared before them, its crystalline form even more impressive up close. "Welcome, humans, to the heart of the luminous Concordat. For eons, we have fought to preserve the light of creation against the entropy of the Void Dominion. Now you stand at a crossroads of cosmic history." Arya stepped forward, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We're honored by your welcome, Zixlaren. We came seeking knowledge and peaceful exchange. Instead, we find ourselves in the middle of a war that spans millennia. Help us understand. What is the nature of this conflict? What are the stakes?" The alien's form shimmered, projecting images around them. The team saw stars being born and dying, civilizations rising and falling, all in the blink of an eye. The Void Dominion believes that the ultimate fate of the universe is heat death, a cold, dark emptiness. They seek to hasten this end, to snuff out all life and light. We, the luminous Concordat, fight to preserve the vibrant tapestry of existence. Dr. Nkosi's scientific curiosity got the better of her. "But surely, entropy is a fundamental law of physics. How can you hope to fight against it?" Zixlaren's light pulsed in what might have been a chuckle. "Your understanding of physics is quaint. There are layers to reality your science has yet to grasp. The Void Dominion would collapse all possibilities into a single, lifeless state. We strive to keep the cosmic story unfolding." Nikolai, ever the tactical mind, interjected. "And where do we fit into this? Our technology is clearly far behind yours. What could we possibly offer in such a conflict?" The alien's form shifted, focusing its attention on the humans. "You offer something we have long lost in our eons of warfare: perspective, fresh ideas, the ability to see solutions where we see only the patterns of ages-old conflict, and perhaps something more." Arya felt a chill run down her spine. "Something more." Zixlaren's voice took on a tone of what might have been excitement. "Your species possesses a unique combination of traits we have rarely encountered. You are adaptable, innovative, and possess an indomitable will. More importantly, you exist in a state of quantum superposition that our sensors struggle to quantify. The humans exchanged confused glances. Arya spoke for them all. I'm not sure we understand. Of course not, Zixlaren replied. But you will. For now. Know this. Your arrival may be the fulcrum upon which the fate of the cosmos balances. The question is, Captain Arya Chen of Earth, are you and your people prepared to take on such a monumental responsibility? As the weight of Zixlaren's words settled over them, alarm suddenly blared throughout the command center. The alien's form pulsed rapidly, its harmonious voice tinged with urgency. The Void Dominion attacks. They must have detected your arrival. Quickly, humans, you must decide. Will you stand with us against the encroaching darkness, or will you flee back to the safety of your home? Arya looked at her team, seeing the mix of fear and determination in their eyes. In that moment, she knew that the future of not just humanity, but all of creation, hung in the balance. Their next move would shape the destiny of the cosmos. The plan. The command center of the luminous Concordat shuddered under the assault of the Void Dominion. Captain Arya Chen steadied herself against a pulsating crystalline structure, her mind racing with the weight of the decision before her. We'll help, she declared, her voice firm despite the chaos around them. But we need to understand what we're up against and what we can do. Zixlaren's form brightened appreciatively. Your courage is noted, human. Come, we must move to the war room. As they hurried through the shifting corridors of the command center, Dr. Nkosi peppered Zixlaren with questions. You mentioned we exist in a state of quantum superposition. What exactly does that mean? The alien's reply was interrupted by a violent tremor. A section of the wall phased out of existence, revealing the star-studded battlefield beyond. Massive void ships, dark as the space between stars, engaged with the luminous fleet. Explanations must wait, Zixlaren hummed. We are here. They entered a vast chamber where countless alien beings, each as strange and wondrous as Zixlaren, gathered around a holographic display of the battle. Arya recognized some as variations of the crystalline Concordat, while others defied easy categorization. A being that appeared to be made of pure energy approached them. Zixlaren, are these the humans you spoke of? Can they truly turn the tide? That remains to be seen, Ilara, Zixlaren replied. Humans, this is Ilara, our chief strategist. Arya stepped forward. I'm Captain Arya Chen. This is my science officer, Dr. Emol Nkosi, and my tactical officer, Commander Nikolai Volkov. We're here to help, but we need to know how. Ilara's form flickered. Your ship, while advanced by your standards, is insignificant compared to the forces at play here. However, Zixlaren believes your species possesses unique qualities. The holographic display zoomed in on the UES horizon, now dwarfed by the titanic ships surrounding it. Strange energy readings pulsed around the human vessel. Dr. Nkosi's eyes widened. Those readings, they're similar to the quantum fluctuations we observed when activating the wormhole drive. Zixlaren's voice took on an excited tone. Precisely. Your method of faster-than-light travel taps into the quantum foam of reality itself. It's crude by our standards, but it possesses a raw, untamed quality our technology lacks. Commander Volkov frowned. Are you saying our wormhole drive could be a weapon? Not a weapon, Ilara interjected, her energy form pulsing. A key. The Void Dominion's power comes from collapsing quantum states, forcing reality into a single deterministic path. Your drive, however unrefined, does the opposite. It expands possibilities. Arya's mind raced with the implications. So if we could amplify this effect, we could potentially unravel the Void Dominion's influence, Zixlaren finished. But it would require a level of coordination and precision beyond anything we've achieved in 800,000 years of conflict. The human team exchanged glances, a mix of excitement and trepidation in their eyes. Dr. Nkosi spoke up, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. We'd need to modify the Horizon's drive significantly, and we'd need to understand the underlying principles far better than we do now. Ilara's form brightened. We can assist with the knowledge, but the implementation, that would require the human touch. Your unpredictability, your ability to innovate in the face of impossible odds, that is what we need. Another violent tremor shook the command center. The holographic display showed Void Dominion forces pressing their advantage, dark tendrils of anti-energy reaching out to corrupt Concordat ships. Area made a decision. All right, we're in. But we do this our way. I want full access to your scientific and tactical databases. We'll form a joint team, our best minds working with yours. Commander Volkov, coordinate with Ilara on battle strategy. Dr. Nkosi, you'll lead the research team on modifying our wormhole drive. Zixlaren's crystalline form shimmered with what might have been approval. Bold decisions, Captain Chen. But tell me, what will you do? Aria's eyes hardened with determination. I'm going to talk to the enemy. A shocked silence fell over the war room. Even the alien beings seemed taken aback by the human captain's declaration. Captain, Nikolai started, his voice laden with concern. With all due respect, that's suicide. The Void Dominion has been fighting this war for 800,000 years. Aria interrupted. Just like the Concordat, there has to be more to this conflict than we're seeing. If we're going to end this war, we need to understand both sides. Ilara's energy form flickered rapidly. The Void Dominion cannot be reasoned with, human. They seek only the end of all things. Aria stood her ground. Maybe. But we haven't tried. Not with a neutral third party. Not with someone who can see this conflict with fresh eyes. Zixlaren was silent for a moment, its crystalline structure pulsing slowly. Finally, it spoke. Your species continues to surprise us, Captain Chen. Very well. We will attempt to arrange a parley. But be warned, the Void Dominion's influence is insidious. Do not let their darkness corrupt your light. As the aliens began preparations for the unprecedented diplomatic mission, Aria turned to her team. All right, people. We've got a lot of work to do and not much time to do it. Nikolai, I want you to absorb as much tactical data as you can. Look for patterns, weaknesses, anything we might exploit. Dr. Nkosi, dive into their scientific archives. Focus on quantum mechanics and how it relates to our wormhole drive. We need to understand what makes us special in their eyes. And you, Captain? Dr. Nkosi asked, concern evident in her voice. Aria's expression was grim but determined. I'm going to prepare to face an enemy that wants to end all of existence. No pressure, right? As her team dispersed to their assigned tasks, Aria found herself alone with Zixlaren. The alien's crystalline form seemed to dim slightly, as if weighed down by the eons of conflict. Your courage is admirable, Captain Chen. Zixlaren hummed softly. But I fear you do not truly comprehend the nature of our enemy. The Void Dominion is not merely a hostile force. It is the antithesis of all that we hold dear. Life, growth, possibility. They seek to snuff it all out. Aria nodded solemnly. I understand your concern. But in our history, we faced enemies that seemed just as implacable. Sometimes, understanding is the first step towards resolution. Zixlaren's form shimmered in what might have been a sigh. Very well. We will make the preparations. But remember, Captain, in treating with the Void, you risk more than just your life. Your very essence, the spark that makes you unique in this cosmos, that is what they truly seek to extinguish. As Zixlaren departed, Aria was left alone with her thoughts. The enormity of the task before her was almost overwhelming. She was a starship captain, trained to explore new worlds and make first contact. Now she found herself trying to negotiate an end to a war older than human civilization itself. She made her way to a viewport, gazing out at the battle raging across the stars. Concordat ships, glowing with inner light, clashed with the dark, almost invisible vessels of the Void Dominion. Energy weapons lanced across space, while entire fleets maneuvered in complex patterns that spoke of millennia of refined tactics. Iris, she spoke softly, addressing the AI that was her constant companion. "Are you getting all this?" The AI's calm voice responded in her earpiece. "Affirmative, Captain. I am recording and analyzing all available data. The scale of this conflict is beyond my current parameters to fully comprehend." Arya smiled wryly. "You and me both, old friend. But we've got to try. Humanity's fate, maybe the fate of all life, depends on it." As she watched the cosmic ballet of destruction before her, Arya's mind raced with possibilities. What could she possibly say to an enemy that sought the end of all things? How could she bridge a gap 800,000 years in the making? But then, unbidden, a memory surfaced. Her grandfather, a veteran of Earth's last great war, sharing wisdom gained through hardship. The fiercest enemies are often those who fear us most. Understanding that fear is the first step towards peace. With renewed determination, Arya turned from the viewport. It was time to prepare for the most important diplomatic mission in human history. As she strode through the alien corridors, she couldn't help but feel that the fate of the cosmos rested on her shoulders. Little did she know, events were already in motion that would test not just her diplomatic skills, but the very essence of what it meant to be human. The battle begins. The UES horizon hung in space, a tiny island of humanity amidst the vast fleets of the luminous Concordat and the Void Dominion. On the bridge, Captain Arya Chen stood rigidly, her eyes fixed on the view screen where a swirling mass of darkness awaited her transmission. "Are you certain about this, Captain?" Commander Volkov asked, his voice tinged with concern. Arya nodded, her jaw set with determination. "We have to try, Nikolai." "Iris, open the channel." The AI's serene voice responded. "Channel open, Captain. You may begin transmission." Taking a deep breath, Arya spoke. "This is Captain Arya Chen of the United Earth Ship Horizon. I come seeking dialogue with the leaders of the Void Dominion." For a long moment, there was only silence. Then, a voice that seemed to suck the warmth from the air itself responded. "Speak, tiny spark of humanity. Your insignificance amuses us." Suppressing a shudder, Arya continued. "We've learned of your conflict with the luminous Concordat. We seek to understand your perspective, to find a path to peace." A sound that might have been laughter, cold and empty, echoed through the bridge. "Peace. You understand nothing, child of a young race. We are not at war. We are fulfilling destiny. The universe marches inevitably towards entropy, towards perfect, eternal stillness. We merely hasten the process." "But why?" Arya pressed. "Why extinguish all life, all possibility?" The voice grew colder still. "Because it is mercy. The struggle of life is futile, a brief flicker against the vast darkness. We offer release from that struggle, a return to the quiet perfection of the void." As Arya struggled to form a response, alarms blared across the bridge. Lieutenant Singh's voice cut through the chaos. "Captain, multiple Void Dominion ships decloaking. They're charging weapons. Evasive maneuvers." Arya shouted, all thoughts of diplomacy forgotten. Shields up, ready weapons. The horizon lurched as it narrowly avoided the first salvo of dark energy beams. On the view screen, Arya watched in horror as the Void Dominion fleet began to overwhelm the Concordat's defenses. "It seems diplomacy has failed," the cold voice mocked. "Embrace the coming darkness, humans. Your light, like all others, will soon be extinguished." As the transmission cut off, Arya turned to her crew. "Battle stations. Nikolai, coordinate with the Concordat fleet. We may be small, but we're not going down without a fight." The space around the horizon erupted into chaos. Void Dominion ships, black as the space between stars, unleashed weapons that seemed to devour light itself. Concordat vessels retaliated with beams of pure energy, creating a dazzling and terrifying light show. "Captain, Iris chimed in. I'm detecting unusual quantum fluctuations around our wormhole drive. The battle seems to be affecting it somehow. Dr. Nkosi's voice came over the comm. Captain, we need to activate the drive. Our modifications aren't complete, but the ambient energy from the battle is causing unexpected reactions. If we don't act now, we might lose our chance. Aria's mind raced. They weren't ready. The plan wasn't fully formed, but the opportunity was slipping away. Do it, Doctor. Nikolai, get us into position. All hands braced for wormhole activation. The Horizon maneuvered through the battlefield, narrowly avoiding destruction multiple times. As they reached the designated coordinates, Dr. Nkosi's voice rang out again. Activating drive now. A blinding light erupted from the horizon, expanding outward in a wave of pure possibility. Where it touched void dominion ships, reality itself seemed to waver and shift. Some vessels blinked out of existence, while others split into multiple versions of themselves, each slightly different. What's happening? Aria demanded, shielding her eyes from the glare. Iris's calm voice cut through the confusion. It appears we've created a localized field of quantum instability, Captain. The void dominion ships are being forced into multiple quantum states simultaneously. For a moment, it seemed like victory was within reach. But then, the darkness began to push back. Tendrils of void energy lashed out, corrupting the quantum field and threatening to engulf the horizon. We're losing containment, Dr. Nkosi shouted over the comm. The drive can't handle this level of energy. Aria gripped her chair as the ship shuddered violently. Shut it down. All power to shields. As the quantum field collapsed, the backlash sent shockwaves across the battlefield. The horizon spun out of control, its systems flickering on and off. Damage report. Aria called out as soon as she could steady herself. Lieutenant Singh's voice was grim. Multiple hull breaches. Wormhole drive is offline. We're running on emergency power, Captain. As Aria surveyed the damage, she realized the battle had taken an unexpected turn. While many Void Dominion ships had been destroyed or disabled, the survivors seemed changed. They moved with newfound aggression and purpose, as if awakened to new possibilities. Zixlaren's voice crackled over the comm. Captain Chen, what have you done? The Void ships, they're evolving. Aria watched in horror as the transformed Void Dominion vessels began to coordinate in ways they hadn't before, using tactics that seemed eerily familiar. They're adapting, she whispered. We showed them new possibilities, and they're using them against us. The battle raged on, with the horizon limping through space, narrowly avoiding destruction time and again. Aria's mind raced, trying to find a solution. They had come here to end a war, but instead, they might have just made it infinitely worse. Captain, Iris interjected. I'm detecting a massive energy buildup in the nearest star. It appears the Void Dominion is attempting to trigger a premature supernova. Aria's blood ran cold. If the star exploded, it would take out not just the fleets, but potentially inhabited systems as well. They had to act, but with the horizon crippled and the Concordat fleet in disarray, what could they do? As if in answer to her unspoken question, a new voice cut through the chaos. UES Horizon. This is Admiral Kira Yoshida of the Earth Defense Fleet. Looks like you could use a hand. Aria's eyes widened in disbelief as the view screen showed a massive wormhole opening. Through it came a fleet of Earth ships, led by a vessel that dwarfed even the horizon. Admiral Yoshida. Aria stammered. How? When? No time for explanations. Captain, the Admiral's voice was crisp and professional. We picked up your distress signal and followed your wormhole trail. Now let's show these cosmic entities what humanity can really do. As the Earth fleet engaged the Void Dominion forces, buying precious time, Aria felt a glimmer of hope. But she knew the real battle was just beginning. They had changed the rules of a war that had raged for 800,000 years, and now they had to deal with the consequences. The fate of not just humanity, but all life in the galaxy hung in the balance. And as Captain Area Chen looked out at the chaos they had unleashed, she knew that their next move would determine whether they would be remembered as the saviors of the cosmos or the ones who doomed it to eternal darkness. Turning the tide. The arrival of the Earth Defense Fleet had shifted the momentum of the battle, but Captain Area Chen knew they were far from victory. The transformed Void Dominion ships were adapting at an alarming rate, assimilating human tactics and combining them with their own ancient strategies. Admiral Yoshida, Area hailed the flagship of the Earth Fleet. We need to coordinate our efforts. The situation is more complex than it appears. Agreed, Captain. The Admiral's stern face appeared on the view screen. We're picking up some bizarre readings out there. Care to fill us in? As Area quickly explained the situation. The ancient war, the quantum drive experiment, and the unintended evolution of the Void Dominion forces. She could see the Admiral's expression grow increasingly grave. So we've essentially weaponized their ability to adapt, Yoshida summarized. Any ideas on how to counter it? Before Area could respond, Dr. Nkosi's voice cut in. Captain, Admiral, I think I might have a solution. But it's risky, and we'll need the Concordat's help. At this point, Doctor, we're open to anything, Area said. What's your plan? Dr. Nkosi's voice was excited, despite the dire circumstances. The quantum field we generated didn't just affect the Void Dominion ships. It's changed the very fabric of space-time in this region. If we can use the Concordat's technology to amplify and control these changes, we might be able to create a sort of possibility sink. A what now? Commander Volkov interjected, his brow furrowed. Think of it like a black hole, but for quantum possibilities. Nkosi explained. We forced the Void Dominion ships into a state of quantum collapse, essentially reversing what we accidentally did to them. Admiral Yoshida nodded slowly. And how do we make sure we're not caught in this possibility sink ourselves? That's where it gets tricky, Nkosi admitted. We'll need to modify our wormhole drives to act as quantum anchors. It'll be like riding the event horizon of a black hole. Area exchanged a glance with Admiral Yoshida. The plan was audacious, perhaps even insane. But given the stakes, what choice did they have? All right, Doctor, Area decided. Coordinate with the Concordat and get started on the modifications. Admiral, can your fleet buy us some time? Yoshida's lips curved into a grim smile. We'll do more than that, Captain. We'll give them hell. As the Earth fleet engaged the Void Dominion forces in a dazzling display of advanced human weaponry, Area turned her attention to Zixloren and the Concordat. Zixloren, we need your help. She explained the plan quickly. Can your people assist with the quantum manipulations we'll need? The crystalline being pulsed with what might have been excitement. Audacious, Captain Chen. Your species continues to surprise us. Yes, we will aid you in this endeavor. The next few hours were a blur of frantic activity. As the battle raged around them, the horizon became a hub of human and alien collaboration. Dr. Nkosi worked tirelessly with Concordat scientists, their disparate technologies merging in ways that defied conventional physics. Meanwhile, Area coordinated with Admiral Yoshida and the Earth Fleet, using the horizon's unique position to provide crucial tactical data. The human ships, though outnumbered, fought with a tenacity that seemed to surprise even the ancient combatants. Captain, Iris interrupted Area's thoughts. The modifications are complete. Dr. Nkosi reports we're ready to proceed. Area took a deep breath. This was it. The moment that would decide the fate of not just this battle, but potentially the entire war. All ships, this is Captain Chen. She broadcast to the combined human and Concordat fleet. Prepare for quantum anchor activation on my mark. May the odds be ever in our favor. She couldn't help but smile slightly at the ancient human phrase, a reminder of the heritage they carried with them into this cosmic conflict. 3, 2, 1, mark. The horizon's wormhole drive hummed to life, but instead of opening a passage through space-time, It began to warp the fabric of reality around it. Similar effects rippled out from the other human ships and the Concordat vessels, creating a web of quantum instability that spread across the battlefield. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly but surely, the Void Dominion ships began to distort. Some split into multiple versions of themselves. Others seemed to fade in and out of existence. "It's working." Dr. Nkosi's excited voice came over the comm. "The quantum sink is forming. We need to push harder." Aria gritted her teeth, feeling the strain on the ship as they pushed the wormhole drive beyond its limits. "Give it everything we've got." The effect intensified. Void Dominion ships started to implode, collapsing in on themselves as their multitude of quantum states were forced into singularity. But the strain on the human and Concordat ships was immense. Hull integrity failing, Iris reported calmly. "Structural collapse imminent." "Hold on," Aria shouted, though whether to her crew or to the ship itself, she wasn't sure. "We're almost there." Just as it seemed the horizon would shake itself apart, a blinding flash lit up space. When Aria could see again, she gasped at the sight before her. Where the Void Dominion fleet had been, there was now nothing. No ships, no debris, not even empty space. It was as if that section of the universe had simply ceased to exist. "Report," Aria demanded, her voice hoarse. "Void Dominion fleet. Gone, Captain," Nikolai responded, his voice filled with awe. "We've opened a rift in spacetime. It's beautiful." And it was. The rift shimmered with possibilities, a kaleidoscope of quantum potential that defied description. As the human and Concordat fleets regrouped, nursing their wounds and marveling at what they had accomplished, Aria felt a mix of elation and dread. They had won the battle, yes, but at what cost? And what would this victory mean for the greater war? Zixlaren's voice, filled with a reverence Aria hadn't heard before, summed it up best. "In all our millennia of conflict, we never imagined such a solution. You humans truly are remarkable. But beware, Captain Chen, for in ending this battle, you may have started something far greater." As Aria looked out at the shimmering rift, she couldn't help but agree. They had changed the rules of a war older than human civilization. Now, they would have to deal with the consequences. The battle was over, but Aria knew that their true challenge was just beginning. Victory and aftermath. The shimmering quantum rift hung in space like a cosmic wound, a testament to the unprecedented power that had been unleashed. As the combined fleets of Earth and the luminous Concordat regrouped, Captain Aria Chen felt the weight of their actions settling heavily upon her shoulders. "Admiral Yoshida," she hailed the Earth Defense Fleet flagship. "What's the status of our forces?" The Admiral's weathered face appeared on the view screen, looking both exhilarated and exhausted. "We've taken heavy losses, Captain, but we're still in the fight. The question is, what are we fighting now?" Before Aria could respond, Zixlaren's harmonic voice interjected. "Caution, humans. The rift you've created, it's unlike anything we've encountered in our long history. It's not just a tear in spacetime, it's a nexus of possibilities." Dr. Nkosi's excited voice came over the comm. "Captain, the alien is right. The readings we're getting from the rift are off the charts. It's as if we're seeing every possible outcome of the universe simultaneously." Aria frowned, her mind racing to grasp the implications. "Is it dangerous? Should we be attempting to close it?" I'm not sure we can close it, Captain," Nkosi admitted. "At least, not with our current understanding of the forces at play." As if in response to their discussion, the rift pulsed, sending out a wave of energy that washed over the fleet. Ship systems flickered, and for a moment, Aria saw multiple versions of her bridge crew, each slightly different. "What was that?" she demanded, shaking off the disorienting effect. Iris's calm voice responded. "It appears the rift is leaking quantum possibilities into our reality, Captain. Each pulse temporarily actualizes multiple timelines." "Captain Chen," Zixlaren's voice was urgent now. We must act quickly. The rift's influence is spreading. If we don't contain it, it could destabilize the entire sector, perhaps even beyond. Arya nodded grimly. They had won the battle against the Void Dominion, but in doing so, they might have created an even greater threat. All right, we need options. Dr. Nkosi, work with the Concordat scientists. Find a way to stabilize or contain this rift. Commander Volkov, coordinate with Admiral Yoshida. I want a defensive perimeter around the anomaly. Nothing gets in or out without our knowing. As her crew sprang into action, Arya couldn't help but feel a sense of irony. They had come here to end a war, only to find themselves facing a challenge that made the conflict seem almost trivial in comparison. Hours passed in a flurry of activity. The combined intellect of humanity and the luminous Concordat grappled with the problem of the quantum rift, while the fleet maintained a vigilant watch. Arya found herself in near-constant communication with Admiral Yoshida, Zixlaren, and her own team, coordinating efforts and making split-second decisions that could have cosmic consequences. Finally, Dr. Nkosi's tired but triumphant voice came over the comm. Captain, I think we've got something. We can't close the rift, but we believe we can stabilize it. Turn it from a chaotic tear in reality into a controlled gateway. A gateway to where? Arya asked, both curious and apprehensive. To everywhere and everyone, Captain, Nkosi replied, her voice filled with awe. If we're right, this could be the key to traversing not just space, but time and alternate realities as well. The implications were staggering. Arya shared a look with Commander Volkov, seeing her own mix of excitement and fear reflected in his eyes. What do we need to do, Doctor? We'll need to position ships at specific points around the rift, Nkosi explained. Each vessel will emit a specially modulated tachyon field. Together, they should form a containment lattice that will stabilize the rift's boundaries. Arya nodded. Make it happen. Coordinate with Admiral Yoshida and the Concordat fleet. I want this rift under control yesterday. As the fleets maneuvered into position, Arya felt the tension on the bridge ratchet up. This was a moment that would be remembered in human history. Assuming they survived to record it, all ships in position, Volkov reported. Tachyon emitters charged and ready. Arya took a deep breath. Initiate containment sequence. Now. Beams of exotic particles lanced out from the assembled ships, converging on the rift. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly but surely, the chaotic energies of the rift began to calm. The wild fluctuations in reality around them stabilized, and the rift itself transformed, its edges becoming crisp and defined. It's working, Dr. Nkosi exclaimed. The rift is stabilizing. We're seeing a coherent structure forming within the quantum matrix. Arya allowed herself a small smile of relief. Good work, everyone. Now let's figure out exactly what we've created here. Over the next few days, as the immediate crisis passed, the true magnitude of their discovery began to sink in. The stabilized rift, which they had taken to calling the Nexus, was indeed a gateway, not just to distant parts of the universe, but to other timelines, other possibilities. In a solemn ceremony, attended by representatives of Earth, the luminous Concordat, and even a few hesitant emissaries from the remnants of the Void Dominion, Captain Arya Chen found herself delivering a speech that would echo across the cosmos. Today, we stand at a crossroads of cosmic history, she began, her voice carrying to billions across countless worlds. The war that has raged for 800,000 years has come to an end, not through the victory of one side over another, but through the opening of a door to infinite possibilities. She gestured to the Nexus, shimmering majestically behind her. This gateway represents both our greatest achievement and our greatest responsibility. With it, we have the power to explore not just the vastness of space, but the very fabric of reality itself. We can see the roads not taken, the choices unmade, and perhaps, Find ways to heal the wounds that have torn our universe apart for so long. Arya paused, looking out at the assembled beings, human, alien, and everything in between. But with this power comes great danger. We must approach this new frontier with caution, wisdom, and above all, unity. The conflicts of the past must remain in the past. From this day forward, we are all explorers of the multiverse, guardians of possibility itself. As she concluded her speech, Arya felt a sense of both excitement and trepidation. They had ended an ancient war and opened up an entirely new chapter in the history of the cosmos. What lay beyond the Nexus was unknown, filled with both promise and peril. But as she looked at her crew, at the allies they had made, and at the shimmering gateway to infinity, Captain Arya Chen knew one thing for certain. Humanity was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. They had proven themselves on a cosmic stage. And now, the universe, no, the multiverse, was theirs to explore. The war was over. The adventure was just beginning.